Hi, guys. This is Queen Nefertiti. I haven't been speaking on a live or anything since 2019 with the last Scurf show. And if you heard my discussions, it had to do a lot with the social construction of our people. Now, why am I here today? Well, I see all newcomers and I see people who've been around for a long time, like Dr. Valentine. I see Bobby Hemmett messages is out there, Sister Myra, some of the old greats that I grew up listening to. And I feel prompt to say something now is because more and more our elders are getting older and they're leaving. I'm not that quite that young myself. But I still have something to give. And the message I have today is for our men, our young men. And I'm going to say young men because some of you are the ages of my sons, which my oldest is 43 and my youngest is 34. So that should give you kind of a number that maybe where I fit in. But I'm from the old school. A woman never tells her age. Okay? So getting back to the message. Young brothers, I need you to stop fighting. You really need to stop. Now, this going back with the Hebrew, the Indian thing, the Moor thing, that needs to stop. You understand? It's not where you come from, it's how you finish. That it's a true meaning in that belief. Why? Because I will listen to oh God, what's your name? Amir, I believe I can remember that part. But there was your show was titled "Why Do American Negroes Want to Identify Ourselves with Native Americans and Hebrews?" Well, sweetheart, and whoever you got your advice from in Africa, you have to look at the political implications here. Africa has something to gain as well as America if we, because remember, yeah, there are cousins. Stop the arguments with the DNA and all that dumb stuff. Because if you look at us, we are a representation of many people. So let me break it down to you that way. I know for a fact my ancestors are indigenous and mixed with French. So let's just stop it. We got to stop it. Now, none of that is important. That's all a distraction. What should resonate with you is your family, personal history, not what somebody calls you. Okay? Now, I grew up understanding and knowing that I'm indigenous to this land. And I also understand that my grandfather was taken to Jamaica and back and forth. And he's darker than a lot of Africans. So let's not get into, because a lot of Africans know that they are not indigenous to Africa. A lot of them came from here. It's in the passage that taken them back and forth during labor, and they were servants. They were indentured. They were not slaves. And some that were slaves, well, that's another argument. But I'm telling you from my perspective, being older, I think I know a lot more than a lot of you. And the books that you read and whatever somebody written those books. Remember that. I always have this argument with my oldest brother when he talk about the book of Enoch. As long as you're going to project Europeans at the point of time when we were here or anywhere on the continent, I'm going to have an issue with you because we know, even looking at today, when we talk about evolution, what have you, what part don't we understand? They have no relationship to nature. They have no relationship to the sun. Look at me. Now I'm just going to say I'm in my 60s. Look at me. Do you see the sun wearing and tearing at this copper skin? No, you don't. There's a reason for that. I am natural to this planet. How do I kill myself? Is by adopting what they bring to this earth. That is unnatural. Okay? And I'm not saying that I'm perfect in my eating or anything, but I remember the teachings of my people. We must keep our creators, our parents that seeded us here, who thought enough to seeded us here. We must respect our ancestors who have died for us, who's turning over in their graves. I'm an empath, by the way, so I commune with my people. I don't listen to, and I never listen to anybody if I don't get it from them first, number one. That's the only reason why I'm speaking right now. The other issue is, if you could meet anybody from my life's journey, they will tell you I'm this way, and I'm not going to deviate this way or that way because I'm trying to fit in to any group. And that's the problem. You know, we're so caught up in things. It disappoints me to see my young sisters all caught up in this fake beauty. And I'm just trying to understand, what is wrong with you? Now, I know I see the brothers who now with the beards and the skirts on and okay, they're actors. They're not in their proper self. What are you doing competing with that? What are you doing competing with women who's trying to look like you? What is happening here? You must stop and take a good look at yourself in the mirror. Don't be afraid of the mirror. That's why they have all these scary shows, say 7 Marys or Hail Marys. So it's based on fear. But the only monsters I've ever experienced in my whole damn life was these foreigners. That's the only devil I know of. And they still doing their magic on you. And the sad thing, you have no cover. You have no cover because a lot of your parents dropped the ball because they want to fit in. I know. Because I personally do not have a lot of outsiders in my life because I chose never to sell out. Because why? What can you offer me that I don't possess within me, that's internal, that feels good and right to me, that I'll never be ashamed of, embarrassed? I remember as a little girl, a Caucasian woman told me, you're not an Indian. And I looked at her and I'm like, okay, who says? She said, well, who told you that? I looked at her and I said, my people. See, and I'm always going to use that term, my people, because that's who I listen to, not outsiders, not strangers. You're not going to tell me who I am in this vessel. I am. Repeat that to yourself. I am. Be concrete in your position. I am. And then you won't waver. You won't waver. Now, Muslims, I appreciate the Muslim brother because they gave us some hope. Malcolm X. Okay? They gave us some kind of hope. But then you find that's all a bunch of political BS too. You know, at the end of the day, It's always going to be about the land and conquering the people of the land. And now that a lot of us is coming to reality and knowing who we really are, the fight is on. The distraction is on. I will say the sky people are real, but even that's getting diluted. What is authentic and real is you. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you feel. Believe in what you know that's going on. The messages you're getting from the ancestors, they're here. They are here. Trust me, sometimes it's hard to shut them down. But, and I don't care if you think I'm weird. I've been told that my whole life. So, thank you. Join the rest of them. But for me, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, I'm already at that halfway mark, and I'm who I am and where I'm going. It's already graved in stone, sweetie. And that's actually being a real woman. Yeah, a real woman. I never get moved by a man and what a man got. Okay? Because I'm the prize. At my age, I'm still that way. I'm the prize. And I'm not giving up and changing nothing about me. Because when you know you equally yoke, you're at the same vibration, he will be your kindred spirit. Not your enemy, your kindred spirit. He will know you by your nature, and you will know him by his nature. I mean, we got to stop, ladies. Get back on your pedestal. You get on your pedestal, and guess what? He has no choice but to rise up. See, you're in your lower nature. So he's been in his lower nature. And he's like a little boy, just confused. And he's running over here after this, he's running over there after that. And you think there's real love involved. Okay, people, you can ask my African friends, a lot of my indigenous associates, they will tell you when they pair up because they complement each other. The ancestors lead them. And that love thing, that admiration, that respect has to be there. Love, what is love? Okay. Love is lust, honey. And I don't care how you, matter of fact, since we know that English language is a spell love backward and see what you get. And that's the true meaning. A man and woman evolves together. They evolve together. And they complement each other and they're respectful. Now, if you want rap music to change, people, stop listening to it. The Carly B's of the world, all these tricks that's out here. I'm gonna say the word. That's what I see them as, trick or treat. Filling your head with all this nonsense. These rappers filling your head with nonsense. They don't have nothing respectful to say about each other and about our people. Why are you supporting that? Take back your children, young women. Don't let the streets raise your children. Okay? Be the queen of your house. I don't care if you don't have a king right now. You get your nagas later. But first, get your life together, young woman. Because if you don't see it, the future of our children, the future of our people, it really depends on you. Because you the giver of life. Yeah, we need the man's seed. But without your portal, nothing comes to fruition. But when you bring your babies into this world, what are you bringing them into? Stop and think about that. Call me old fashioned, anything you want to. But I tell you this, in order to go forward to the future, baby, you got to visit the past. You got to get your foundation. Leave these damn churches alone, unless you just go in there, like you going to see a show or whatever, some music, and you going to pay for their service. I mean, because that's what they're there for. They belong to the corporation. How is a corporation going to one hand have cops on the streets that could kill you and do whatever they want to, and then you go into their churches because it's their churches? I don't care what TD Jakes or any of the fools got to say. They've been playing a role, honey. And I know because I worked with the homeless and a lot of that society nobody wants to, and they weren't there. They weren't there. Now, I will say the Catholics will, but they have to do something, I guess, before they write off or whatever. So it's just a big joke, honey. It's just a joke. It's a game, and the game will continue until the true people, the indigenous people, rise up, stop with the confusion, and take back what belongs to us. Now, we're not here. I love Dean Calloway. I love that young brother from the islands. His name starts with a K. Yeah, I actually reached out to him to do my genealogy, even though I know it, but I would like to know more because I want to um, uh, recover some of the land that my folks had and that I know that was taken. And it's not because we abandoned it or what have you. It's just that we got no notices or anything of that nature. So, anyways, going to that, they speak of, we need to get our stuff together. We need this and that. But see, this is the problem they need to understand. What's next? You see, because when you look at our brother like Malcolm X, even Martin Luther King tried to give a message. What happened to those brothers? See, we don't have a support system, because if you think for 1 minute that these greedy bastards are gonna lay down and let you just take what you want, that's not gonna happen. It's always been a battle. Look around the world. You look at what's the original people from Mexico, where they are, somewhere tucked away in the back, and they look like you. See, I mean, come on. What are we arguing about? We are the indigenous people around the globe, and what we call ourselves or adapted has nothing to do with anything. So what? We share a lot of characteristics and what have you. So what? Physically and mental, you're tied to where you come from. I don't expect the Brazilian chick, because she looks like me, to come over here and call herself an African American. She's not from Africa, number one. Why do we make this such a premise in the United States of America? Well, they can't call themselves United States of America. I know you heard that news, right? They file as United States Corporation because that's who they are. So then, Dodober, ask yourself the question: who are the Americans? And please don't tell me about the Asian population that's mongoloids that came over themselves, and they say first 16. Now they saying back in 14. It don't matter. They don't proceed past that date. We do. You see, evidence in your face. You don't necessarily have to buy all these damn books like I did, you know. But yeah, you have to do some research, and I would do the records, whole records, and things of that nature. Yeah, some books are good to read, but I personally buy a lot of books because I like reading, and I do like researching not I started that. That's another just a topic when I was in school and what have you. But because of that, brought me to where I am now from all these years of journaling and writing and researching stuff. But that's my take on it for today. I don't want to make this long and difficult. This is just my perspective. I love who I am. It starts with self. And so I can say I love my people. I love my children. I want to pass something on to them, some knowledge, some wisdom, some understanding, and some love of who they are and where they come from and who their people are. Now, shout out to my African brothers and sisters. I know you need some help over there. And you know, the quote, so called American black who built up America and started the republic, you need us to come over there and help some of your destitute uh, areas. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Why? Because we first have to get ourselves together and understand that there was a time in history where uh, people, melanated black people, which we're not black, some can be classified as black because they're very, very dark, 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 dark. But copper skin and other colors, red skin, whatever you want to label yourself or whatever. But we were a variety of people fighting together at one time, and we respect each other culture and differences. We did not try to put ourselves in a big old melting pot. This is the European perspective, which is causing the great divide. Put two and two together. That's the great divide. You. Because you're having these petty little arguments. I don't care if you call yourself a Hebrew, even though there's no real harsh evidence that shows that the Americans, we have anything to do with the crossing to as Hebrews here to America. Mm. So maybe you guys need to dig a little bit more. With all these names, Etruscans, you can find that in history. Egyptians, which were not called Egyptians at the time. So Sumerians, all this Hebrew stuff. Like I said, neither here nor there for me. Um, and not only that, it's not attractive because you guys are always angry. See, angry, trying to force your position. See, I'm not trying to force my position on anybody. I'm at peace because I know who I am. And there's nothing you can say or anybody else can make me waver that. I'm not going to say I'm an African. I can say I'm a Moor because what do Moor means? It just means dark skin, copper. And that's what they call the Moors, us back then, everywhere you go. So, just like, and then the terminology came around black. And that was just so they can say you're evil. I was listening to some Venezuelan speaking. They and some of in Spain or what have you can't even say black. That you have black ancestry or African because they seen you as evil because they had money and power and they did not. Yeah, so there's a lot of misconception information going on. And I know a lot of you guys are on the YouTube because you're making money. But can't you bring something positive to the table? You can make money with positive things because you're copying these folks. You keep an element of hopelessness and fear. And I don't see where you're gonna grow as a people, or help us grow as a people, if you're gonna still be singing the same rhetoric. Yeah, same rhetoric. So I want to say peace to my brother Kala. I love listening to you. Just every now and then, which I'm glad you got off, is with the sister marrying. You got to think concubines did not originate with us. That had to do with conquering, and you take the women that you want, and you force women to live together and share the man. So I personally am a queen, and that is not my vision. And real queens don't, why would we do that? That's the question. Now, in the tribe, if you didn't have if you didn't have a husband, whatever, then we felt a need so that woman can give birth to a child. So nothing is done by force. Remember that. It doesn't last. Just like what's going on now. You might look the other way and don't acknowledge things coming to an end, but it's coming to an end very quickly. And that's because these inorganic people have pushed the hands of the ancestors now, the sky people. And people used to think, as when I was a child growing up, with my encounters, that something loose. But no, I knew nothing was loose. I knew they exist. Nice ones and very mean ones. They didn't hurt me though. So that's all for today. And give me a thumbs up if you like this message. And maybe I'll be back. So take care. Peace. Like Kala, I love it. Reach one, teach one. And that's what we need to do so we can grow. Let this be an inspiration. Oh, and the other thing, since we know that the English language is a spell, for me and my family, Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving, thanking ancestors. So, Thanksgiving for our ancestors. We want to put them in that because they died tragically. And these fools turn it around to make money off of us. So mine is Thanks Ancestor Day. That's how my title is Thanks Ancestral Day. And let that be a catalyst for starting a new tradition in your family. And if you want to wear your feathers, wear them, because they do belong to us. You can see it in Egyptian culture, right? You can see it in African culture. Come on, people. We're family. We're cousins at best. But it doesn't mean we have to have the same beliefs. It doesn't mean we have to have anything the same. Although we do share it without knowing it. Okay? Just look how the way we cook. Oh, I'm about to get down. So, happy thanks Ancestral Day to you and yours. I love my children. A lot of you are my children. Peace.